Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is Streetbuck Theater. And it's been 6 months since Solo hit theaters, and it's been a divisive film to say the least. Not as divisive as The Last Jedi, considering the fact that fewer people have seen it. However, I am hoping that will change when the movie hits Netflix next month, as well as then being pulled from Netflix before the end of 2019 to make its way over to the Disney Plus service. I personally loved Solo. I've watched it multiple times on home video, and every time I watch it, I find new things about it to enjoy. It's one of those movies that I ultimately hope finds its way into the hearts and souls of fans who were jaded by The Last Jedi and chose to skip it out of pure principle and purpose and protest, all of which I understand completely. And if it goes into kind of like the pantheon of the franchise by going, look, it's not as good as, let's say, Empire Strikes Back or A New Hope or Return of the Jedi, but it is better than Phantom Menace, and that is something to consider. I would say it's better than even Attack of the Clones, and I've grown fond of Attack of the Clones over the past 15 years now. So, there is that. But one of the things that was really odd at the time was Solo's utter kind of failure, box office wise, this year. People did like to chalk it up to the Phantom Menace having a direct impact. YouTubers such as myself deriding The Last Jedi so much that it just turned people off from Star Wars, even though you can look back at my record and see that I've generally always been favorable towards Solo, urging people to go and see it before judging it. And a lot of people did, and some people didn't, and that's fine too. But one of the questions that John Kasdan here, one of the writers of the film, he wrote it with his father, Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote Empire and Jedi, as well as The Force Awakens. He posited a question out to the ether, and he says here, hard to wonder how Solo might have fared had it come out tonight. And this, of course, being Friday, December 21st, 2018, a whole year after the events or the release of Star Wars The Last Jedi. And that's a good question. That is a good question. How would Solo have done had it come out a year after The Last Jedi and not 6 months? Not 6 months after the fracture in the fandom, after all the back and forth from people that have been going either you either love it or you're sexist, or bigoted or misogynist, and those that say, like, if you do love it, you're just a soy-filled cuck. I mean, there's extremes on both sides, and both sides have dicks. Let's be fair. Both sides have people that have played it up to a certain extent in order to reach a certain audience that they're trying to then profit off of. That's the only way I can see it at this point, because it went far beyond a lot of the general criticisms and just dove into some really weird territory on both sides, and even diving into Solo in the same way. But that is a good question. What if Solo, a Star Wars Story, opened up on December 21st, 2018? Now, this was never going to be the release of the film. This is you should know that right off the bat. John Kasdan here is not suggesting that Disney moved the release date in order to make it, to meet that Memorial Day weekend hit. It was always scheduled for Memorial Day weekend. In fact, The Last Jedi was originally scheduled for Memorial Day weekend 2017, but it was pushed back to December 2018 or 2017, not long after the release of The Force Awakens. And not long. I think it was either before or after the release of Rogue One is when they made that decision. And the reason why they wanted it to be Memorial Day weekend 2017 was because that would be the 40th anniversary of Star Wars being released back on May 25th, 1977. They wanted to coincide with that release, but they had made so much money in the winter with The Force Awakens and Rogue One that they did not want to move it to May. I think because they saw at the time that they had done very well in those time slots or in those release dates, and Memorial Day weekend has been slogging off for the past few years. And that's just true. Hollywood is very good at predicting how much money something is going to make. They are very, very, very good at that one. So the question then arises, what if Solo did move from Memorial Day weekend to December? Well, let's look at it like this. Let's look at it just based on the reality that we know. What opened up before Solo? Well, April 27th was Avengers Infinity War, which grossed an absolute dickload of money. That gave it a wide berth for, Deadpool to come in, which moved itself ahead of Solo, therefore cutting into its profits. It did, that's true. And vice versa. But they wanted to get ahead of Solo in order to get out of the wake of Solo, which they had assumed was going to crack the $100 million mark. It didn't happen that way. Deadpool came out, did 80 some odd million its opening weekend. The next weekend, it grossed about 40 million. Well, that 40 million was somewhat taken away from Solo. And truth be told, if they would have released Deadpool the first week of June, it probably would have had the exact same response. Solo would have come out grossing probably around 115 to 120 million by my estimate, maybe a little lower, but definitely over 100 million. It's closer to maybe 110. And then Deadpool would have a hit the next weekend because people would then go see Solo who never saw it before. In Hollywood, you have to understand, it really only boils down to the first 3 days. That's what they generally care about. After that, they kind of can tell where things are going to go. They can predict it. They can plot it out, and they can then try to maximize it for profit. Look at Venom. Venom went on to do 800 million worldwide, and they released it on home video like 2 months and a week after its release. 9 weeks later, the movie was on home video. They were trying to maximize the profit before Christmas. It's a smart business move. If they would have released Solo right now, it would be going up against Aquaman, which is just dominating box offices across the world with good reason. It is a great, fun movie. It would have gone up against Mary Poppins, which still is a respectable take-home. Same with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. All respectable take-homes. Bumblebee even. Movies that are making money. If you would have added a Star Wars movie into the mix, it just would have been an implosion because people would not know what to go see. You have analysis paralysis, people who just don't want to go see a movie more than once, and movies would get hurt. This is one of the reasons why trying to cram it all into the holiday break towards the end of the year is just pointless. We've learned time and time again over the last few years that you can find success not in key months. Look at 2017 for Christ's sake. March. No, you can go at February. Lego Batman movie did very well. 50 Shades Darker did very well. Going into March, Logan, Beauty and the Beast, Power Rangers all did very well. You can release movies. Oh, and April was Fast and the Furious 8. Again, you can make these movies and they will do very well in different times. Spacing it out is key. For some reason this year, I think because they plotted these release dates a long time in advance, we're seeing the problem. And that's probably one of the reasons why Wonder Woman was pushed back until the summer. Until the next winter, I think. Is it? No, it's summer 2020 now. That's right. They moved it to summer 2020 to get out of the way of Star Wars Episode 9 because they get it. They understand it. There's only so much money to go around in the box office that big movies will take it, little movies will get hit. And if you all try to cram it at one time, it's going to bite you in the ass. So ultimately, Solo would have done just fine on its own, probably coming out in an off month like September or August, or maybe early April, or even you could go probably end July if you wanted, maybe October, but definitely avoiding May, November, and December and February. Those are the months I would say. But look at next month. You have January, you have Glass coming out. That's going to be really big. Split was a couple years ago when that released, and this is going to conclude that trilogy. So movies can do it. And then February is going to be another huge month. March is going to be big. April is going to be big. And then we just move into the cycle again. These movies have to space themselves out. Certain movies are going to swallow up more of the box office than other films, and they can predict that. So to get out of its way is the right call. But I do think that by Fox moving Deadpool in front of Solo hurt both movies. It's another reason why Deadpool released the Once Upon a Deadpool cut coming out in Christmas that ultimately only made 2.65 million in the first 5 days, I think. So it was a ploy to try to, it's all a ploy, but it failed. So anyway, those are my thoughts on it. I am curious to know what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments below if you guys think that Solo would have done better in an off month or a less crowded December, or just it was so bad it was doomed to fail. These are things I'm curious to know about. Let me know down in the comments. I will talk to you guys later. Oh yeah, you can also call our voicemail line in at 818-350-3281. That's 818-350-3281. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. I will talk to you all later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.